Hello. Most people think that money management is complicated, but the truth is, it's just a few simple steps. Tracking your income, tracking your expenses, and making adjustments. And what I'm about to show you is a simple process that I use to manage my money on a consistent basis. And the best part is you don't need any fancy apps. You don't need any expensive software. All you need is a spreadsheet and a simple process, and I'm about to show you that process. So let's go. Here is my full workbook that contains three separate spreadsheets, and these spreadsheets all work together. All right, the first thing that I'm going to do, I want to call your attention to this spreadsheet right over here, which is the move spreadsheet. In this move spreadsheet, I'm going to enter my online banking balance that I'm going to get from my laptop here on a separate screen. And I'm going to enter that balance right here. That balance currently is 3895.25. Okay. So now that I have that balance, it resulted in a negative amount here saying that this is what I'm out of balance is this 996.82 right there. All right. And that's because I haven't here entered on the my money spreadsheet. I haven't entered the transactions that have transpired since the last time I balanced my checkbook. All right. So before we actually jump into step one, which is tracking my income, which is tracking the income, which is pretty much the same thing as what I'm doing now. I am tracking the income, and a part of that income is the balance, is my bank balance, right? So I'm going to enter some transactions here that are reflected on my online banking account. So I'm going to look over here on the separate screen, and I'm going to start entering the amounts that appear as the transactions that have taken place. The first one is 375.01, 375.01. The next one is 675. The next one's 32.46. The next one's 51.72. The next one is $40.41. And then, oh, hold on. Next, no, I already entered that one last time. And that's a good point to make right now is that I need to make sure that I didn't already enter the transactions before. As you see right here, over here on this screen, over here in this section right here, it shows the here, let me blow that up a little bit so that you can see what I'm doing. All right, so a little bit ahead, a little bit the last time I did this, it showed that I already entered that 4041, which is right there. So I'm gonna take that one out. I'm gonna take that one out, make it zero, and then I think that might be all of them because when I look back over at the full spreadsheet and I look over onto the move spreadsheet right here. This is the full workbook, but I look at this move spreadsheet, which is right here. It shows that I'm still at a negative balance amount of 530.88. So there's some more transactions I need to enter. So I'm gonna jump back over to the money spreadsheet, and I'm gonna go continue entering those numbers until I get to a zero balance. So the next entry after that 5172 is 5939, and I already entered that one. So because I see it up there, I see the 5939 up there. Let me bring that down a little bit more so we can see the ones that I did already, and at the same time see the ones that I'm entering. So it'll all show on the screen. All right. And I know which is which because I included that dark line right there to show where this dark line that I have, that dark line shows the last time I made some entries. And then the previous last time was above that. So these are the entries that I made the last time. So I don't want to enter those twice. All right. So getting back to entering. So after that 5172, since it was not that 4041, because I entered it already and it was not that 5939, so it's not that one yet. So it must be another one. So let me keep going to see if there is another one here. Okay, so on my online banking, there's an 83 one. I got that 83. That hasn't been entered already. And then there is 125.27. Okay, got that one already. Okay, I got that one put in. All right, now when I look over to this full workbook and I look at the spreadsheet over here that shows the overall balance, I'm still out of balance 322.61. So I'm going to keep making entries until this amount equals zero, because the um the online banking balance is this amount, but the amount that I'm showing in my money checkbook spreadsheet is showing this 4217.86, which is that this number going all the way down the side here. So there's still some more entries. So after that 125 27, there should be some more entries here. There's another one right here for $40, and then another one for 398.07. Okay, now I am 115.46 off. One in a positive amount, 115.46. So I'm gonna keep entering, keep looking at the online banking statement that I have on a separate screen, and I'm gonna keep looking for entries that I haven't entered yet. All right, there is one for 24.96, but that one was one of the ones that I already entered, so I'm not gonna enter that one again. After that, there is 56.92. I see that I already entered that one as well. All right, so I'm gonna keep going here to see what else I got. Uh, on the online banking statement, let me just double check to see if if I missed anything. So I got the 375.01. Sometimes these numbers are a little long, so they don't completely fit inside the cell like I have it formatted. 375.01, 675, 32.46, 51.72, $83 even. Okay, and then we got 125.27, then the 40, then the 398.07, then there's a 24.96, but I got that one already, so not going to re-enter that. After that, the online banking statement shows 56.92. I got that one already. Okay. Let's see what else. The next one after that is going to be, I have an entry of 865. 865. Have I entered that one already before on some previous? Yeah, there it is, 865. So I entered that one already. So let's see. Some of these transactions might be pending because it may be an approval instead of an actual deduction. It might just be an approval. You know how sometimes you can give your card, your debit card, and they'll just take the approval amount and it won't actually go through, and the bank won't actually consider it a full charge. They're just seeing if you got the money on your card. So this 115.46 that we see right here, this 115.46 amount that we see, that amount is not fully um, that amount's not fully showing as any of these amounts here. So there's two of these amounts over here on the checkbook. Two of these particular amounts must equal up to this $115 and 46. So I'm going to see which two of those equal up to that amount. So we're looking for 115.46. All right, so I can see there's a 32.46 right here. So it must be this amount plus plus another amount. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to push control. I'm going to hold this 32.46 in that box, and I'm going to push the control key on my keyboard, and it's going to help me calculate the other amount. So if I calculate that 83, that equals down here at the bottom, very bottom, if you can see that down at the bottom, right about, let me see if I can click on it. Yeah, there we go. You see right there at the bottom, right about here. Let me see. You see that sum? That sum is 115.46. That means that these two transactions, this 32.46 and this 83, those two particular transactions must be pending transactions that the bank hasn't really deducted from the total balance. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here, and in this yellow box on the moves spreadsheet, I'm going to enter those two amounts as unposted bank entries. Unposted bank entries. Let me show you that. So you see here, this yellow box indicates unposted bank entries. I'm going to increase the size a little bit. Yeah, I think that's better to see. So I'm going to enter the $32.46 plus 32.46 plus 83. All right. Now I know that even though those two entries are a part of the balance, they haven't been deducted from the balance yet. And the result is me being balanced. My overall balance is zero because I've made a entry here saying that these are unposted bank entries, and that's the important part of that. So now the checkbook is all balanced. All right. So now that that's all balanced, this is the next thing that I do. I go back into the um the checkbook and I enter in the titles and the expense categories that I'm going to apply each of these amounts to, just like I did for the previous week up here. So for this 375.01, that was a transfer. So I'm going to say WNB transfer. Nah, I'm not going to call it. I'm going to say it's a transfer. STRAN. Transfer to, let's call it TRNSFER. Transfer to this other banking institution, and that's going to be for um, fees, and I'm going to apply this expense to my expense called 911 contingency. Okay, and then the 675 is from a Xander, which is, I'm going to call that one Xander, and the next one is 32, which is AutoZone, and that's going to be applied to auto needs, which populated automatically. The next one is going to be from this particular merchant, and that one's going to go automatically to see if y'all can't see that, so I'm going to scroll down a little bit so you can see it. Okay, and that one's going to go to entertainment expense. The next one's going to be $80, which is Exxon. That's from that merchant. That's going to go to the fuel expense. It's populating automatically because these are some reoccurring expenses that I have done in the past. This one is another transfer to um, the savings. So this is going to be SVNVV, transfer to the saving, or I can pay SAVVINGS XFER, savings transfer, and that's going to go to the 911 account as well. 911 CONT. The next one is $40. It's an ATM, lawn, yeah, or LAW for the lawn care. And that one's going to be expense to house needs. Okay. And the next one is going to be 398.07. And that particular transfer is going to be the same transfer as the other one for the fees. So those two transfers. So now that I have that all in, this is a part of the two-step process of tracking the income and the expenses. It tracks the income by deducting from the total amount of income I had minus the expenses, step two, that I have incurred. Now, the next part of this process is charging those particular expenses to the categories that belong to, so that they belong to. And I'm going to do that by merging two of these particular two of the particular spreadsheets together and show you how it looks when I do that. So here is the money spreadsheet and the move spreadsheet together. All right. I'm showing you this way so that I can show you how I'm going to take these particular expenses and apply them to the categories that I have indicated that they belong to. So in this particular case, this 375.07 right here, 375.07 we see right there, I'm going to deduct it from my move spreadsheet, which shows a big picture of everything that's happening with my money. So we're still operating in step one and step two, and then I'll show you what happens with step three when we make the adjustments. So 375.01, I'm going to apply that deduction to the 911 contingency fund account. So I'm going to go here, go up into the formula bar, and I'm going to enter minus 375.01 and press enter. Okay, so that since that one's done, I'm gonna come back over here to the money spreadsheet, and I'm gonna mark it red like I did last time I did all of this, so that I can indicate that that one's done. I'm gonna go here to this 675, which is gonna be charged to the ID protection category. I'm gonna go over here and find the ID protection category over here on the move spreadsheet. Let's see, where is it? There it is. All right, it's currently has a credit of $7. So now I'm going to deduct $6.75. All right, and since that one's entered, I'm going to come back over here. I'm going to mark it red and blow that one up a little bit so we can see that a little bit better. See these entries a little bit better. All right. All right, the next one's going to be 3246 being deducted from auto needs. See how auto needs is right there? That's the category that it's going to be deducted from. I'm gonna deduct this 3246 from auto needs over here on the move spreadsheet. All right. Once all this is put together, it's very simple to use. So don't allow it to be intimidating. I know it's a lot, but it helps greatly. This is a part of the money management process, and it's not complicated at all once you understand it. Just follow along with my videos and it'll be something that's easy to understand. All right, so here I'm in the auto needs. There's two ways I can enter it. I can enter 3246 by oh, I just noticed something over here on the money spreadsheet. I already entered this 3246 before. I already entered it before. So this is a duplicate entry. So I'm going to get rid of it now. I'm going to push a 0 here, and I'm going to delete the title of it, all that. Now I'm 3246 off, so it means that that might not be the amount, because now over here on my move spreadsheet I'm negative 3246. So now that I've taken that off and I entered it, it means that the bank may not have it may be in limbo between being pending and not pending between the bank. And that's something I'll just keep in mind, because those two amounts, they do equal up to the total amount. Or actually, I gotta enter. I gotta take it off of here as well. So let me backspace and see if that fixes it. Yeah, it does. So this is just the $83. I'm gonna go ahead and highlight that $83 and set it to the side so I can remember what it's all about. All right, so now that's the case. So there was a case where that 3246 was entered twice. So that's no big deal. So I don't have to enter it again. I noticed it because when I went over here to post it in the move spreadsheet, I noticed that it was already there was an amount there that equaled that amount. It's like, okay, how can I have that amount twice when it's not something that I regularly do, because that was just like a regular purchase. So that's another part of this process that's really good because it keeps you aware of everything that goes on. All right, so the next one after that is 5172 being deducted from entertainment. So I'm gonna come over here, I'm gonna find entertainment. It's already at negative $40.80. I'll explain that later. And go ahead and enter it. Minus 5172, enter. Go over here and mark it. It's 83 is next. Even though it's pending, I'm gonna still enter it. Negative 83. Okay, got that one in. I'm gonna go ahead and mark it. 125 coming out the 911 contingency fund. Go over here, go up into the formula bar, minus 125.27, enter. Go ahead and mark it. Next one is $40 coming out of house needs. I got a credit already of house needs, a positive amount of 70.53. So there's two ways you can enter this. I was mentioning that earlier before I found that mistake. You can enter it by pressing F2 on your keyboard, and it'll bring up the same formula that's up in the formula bar, and you can make the entry here, like minus 40. You can make an entry here at the cell location, or you can make an entry in the formula bar by going up into the formula bar back and get rid of it, and now I can enter it again, and that's the same way you can make those two entries. Just a little heads up about that. So I'm gonna go over here and mark it. And then 398.07 is coming out of the contingency, the 911 contingency. So I'm gonna mark it up. I'm gonna enter it up here in the formula bar, minus 398.07, enter. All right. Now, when I've done all of that, I see down here at the bottom that I'm $83 off. I'm $83 off. That's what's theoretically left over. And that 83 is also the amount that there's a differences between my bank balance and the checkbook balance over here. And the reason is because that particular $83, it hasn't gone through the online banking system yet. And that means that this amount really is not the correct amount. This online banking balance that the online bank shows me is showing me that I have a bank balance of 38.95.25, but it's not accounting for that $83. So that's also a part of this whole process, as I mentioned earlier, about kind of knowing what's going on. And that's what makes this process so simple and so beneficial, is because it's all a part of your money management. So now let's get into the adjustments. So this is what I wanted to show you about making the adjustments. So um when you're in a situation that you have like these negative amounts over here, like this negative 203, this negative, let me go into the move spreadsheet. See, these negative amounts, those amounts correlate with the amounts that we want to make the adjustments with, based on making sure that they get covered. And that's why I created this little checks and balances system over here that allows you to see all of the let me move myself out of the way. So this checks and balances system right here, this little checks and balances system allows me to see what the deficits are, and then the next income when I get paid, when I have more income coming in next time, how these amounts are going to be taken care of. And as we see it right now, those amounts, some of them are going to result in positive amounts and negative amounts. And the adjustment part of it that's the part where it comes in, where I'm going to utilize my management I'm going to utilize my management spreadsheet to uh I'm gonna utilize this management spreadsheet right here to make adjustments. So this is what I mean by that. So now that we've done all of the balancing of that I've done all the balancing of the checkbook, I'm gonna say, okay, now that all of this situation has transpired and I made all of my entries, I'm still negative. I'm looking over here and I say, oh, I see all of these negative amounts. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make sure that those amounts are correct. I'm gonna go into this little cell right here. Not cooperating. Okay. And I'm going to make sure that this cell represents these three highlighted, only the negative amounts. So I'm going to make sure that that's correct first. So I'm going to say plus this cell plus this cell, push enter, and it's three, and that amount results in negative 389.27. All right. This cell is related to this amount right here. That's just a copy of this cell right here. It's just pulling that number from there. All right, and the difference is between those two numbers is 306.27. Now, the thing about that 306.27 is that I want all of these three colored cells to match all of these three colored cells here at the bottom to maintain a checks and balances process, and they do. The grocery and the grocery represents this amount, negative 203. The entertainment expense represents this amount, which is negative 94.52. And the auto needs represents this amount right here, which is 292.72. All right. So I look at all of that and I use this formula right here that I'm gonna want to just recreate for you. I'm gonna say plus this negative amount plus the amount that I plan to get for groceries next week. And that amount is this 148. That's referenced right here on this middle management spreadsheet. So I'm gonna say plus that one and then I'm push enter, and that's gonna result in positive 145.97. So what this is saying is that I have 148 coming into the grocery expense category that's going to cover this negative 203 amount. And I do that for the same thing for entertainment. I say plus this cell plus the cell over here that represents the entertainment. And in this particular case, I don't have an amount right there, right? So I'm going to push enter. So it's going to result in the same conclusion that I'm still going to be $94.52 short. So that I'm going to show you what I'm going to do, which is step 3 about making the adjustment. Same thing for auto needs. I'm going to say plus what's the actual deficit plus what I plan to get when I get paid next time. And then again, I'm not getting anything. I don't have anything allocated for that amount. So I'm going to push enter and it's going to say, okay, well, that's going to result in you still being negative 292.72 in that particular category. So overall, all of these numbers represent um, a total negative amount of 241.27 that I'm still going to be short even though I get more income. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just come over here to this middle spreadsheet and let me put these middle spreadsheets together so that you can see them, see what I'm doing. So I'm going to take this spreadsheet and I'm going to put it together. I'm going to put it together with these two so you can see now we're working with just these two spreadsheets. I'm working with just these two spreadsheets. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, okay, well, since entertainment needs $94.52, I'm going to take $94.52 from the emergency fund because that's what that fund is for when I become short or if I have some situations where I need extra money to cover other expenses because I had more expenses than what were necessary. And this is part of the whole process of doing this as part of that through that third simple step is making the adjustment. So right now I'm about to show you how I make those adjustments. So I'm going to take 94.52 from the emergency fund, which is the next time I get paid, I'm going to get 1302 for, but I'm going to take 90, let's say I'm going to take 95 out of it. So I'm going to go up here into the formula bar, or I can push F2 and I can do the entry here. The only thing, if I do the entry here, I just need to make sure I put a plus sign or an equal sign at the beginning, and then create the formula to say, okay, I'm going to take out minus, I'm going to put it in parentheses so that I'll know where the money is going if I'm doing any research. 95, okay? And then I'm going to put that 95 into the entertainment category, which is right here. So I'm going to go F2 plus or equal, doesn't matter, parentheses 95. So see, I know where that 95 is coming from because I put it in parentheses and it shows up in the formula bar. So if I'm ever doing any research, or if things don't balance, I'll know where things are going, because the parentheses, it indicates adjustments. So now that I've done that, now when we look over at entertainment over here, it shows that, oh, okay, now since you did that, I'm gonna blow that up so it's a little bit more easier to see. All right. So now it shows that even though you're short right now, right here, when you get paid, it's going to be a positive number of 48 cents, which is good. That's an adjustment. So that is the third process. That's the adjustment. Remember, the first adjustment was tracking the income, which we did. We tracked the expenses, which we did by making those entries. Now we're making the adjustments. So let's continue. I'm going to go back over to the spreadsheet, and I'm going to say, okay, now let's tackle this amount. According to this, it's showing 292. It's showing 292 that I'm going to be short. We'll call it 293 that I'm going to be short, even though I'm getting income coming in. I'm going to be short 292, 293. We'll call it, we'll just round it up to 293 for auto needs. So what I'm going to do is, I know that back over here on this spreadsheet, I'm getting 1207 coming into my emergency fund. And what is the emergency fund is for? The emergency fund is for, these situations where, I'm running short. So what I'm going to do is make another adjustment, right? So step 3 is adjustment. Minus, open parentheses, 293, shift, close parentheses. All right. So I made the adjustment of 293, and I'm going to put that 293 where? Into auto needs right here. So I'm going to go here and I'm say plus, shift, parentheses, 293, shift, parentheses, close. Now I got $293 to cover over here on this spreadsheet, which results in 28 cents. Now I have no deficits coming up the next time I get paid. And that's the process of doing all of these entries so that you can manage your money. All right. That's how I do that on a consistent, day to day, or maybe every other day basis. Hopefully this information helped you. If you have any questions, feel free to put them in the feel free to put them in the comments. And also, please like and subscribe. And if you know anybody else who's having some issues with um if they're having some issues managing their money, then by all means share this video with them. This has been Mike's Money Management Moves. Thank you for watching.